Greetings everyone! Action figures. They're great, aren't they? I'm a huge fan personally. I buy way too many, and often I don't end up really caring about a lot of them. And I think this video is very much an example of exactly why you don't necessarily need every figure to ever exist. This is going to be a look at some really weird and unusual and in some cases kind of pointless figures that I have in my... I'd call it a collection, but these are mostly just like things I've just picked up over time, thought they were interesting, and yeah, let's just get into it. So, Shrek. Yes, this is what I assume is some sort of McDonald's toy that was for Shrek the Third, everyone's favourite Shrek film, I'm sure. And yeah, it's just a figure of Shrek. He's got a little, like, cloth around his neck with one of the babies, you know. He's jolly, he's smiling, he's got his fist that he can swing about. You may be noticing something, though. This is clearly a separate piece. And also, I'll get into this in a second, but yeah, you may have already figured it out, but you can actually remove the child to reveal a shield. Because that's exactly what, you know, every good parent should be doing, using their child to hide a shield. Like, who in the design process thought, oh, I know what we'll do, we'll hide a shield behind a baby? Who thought that this would be a good idea? And also, I can't actually show you the design, but basically, putting the baby on his chest, if this had working batteries, would make it make various sounds from the film, a lot of goo goo gaga sort of noises, and yeah, in concept, I just don't quite understand why they thought this was a good idea. I don't know whether, you know, they thought, oh, this will be just a funny little gag thing, or what. I don't get it. It's a pointless figure. It has one point of articulation. And I just don't get it. Speaking of just not getting it, here's weird, large-headed Sandman with action feature that barely works. So basically there's a lever in his back. He's supposed to move his arms, but you have to put so much power into it that I can't actually do it very well if I'm holding it the right way. There we go. But my real thing is, why is there a 1/12 or... I don't even know, it might be too big for 1/12. It's like a Action Man size, like a 12-inch scale head of Sandman. But then it's on the body of Danny DeVito. I don't even know. Like, it's such a weird figure. And just to compare to something that's, like, kind of regular scale, what you'd expect, like, you can tell where they're coming from. But, like, what is this? Obviously, this was based on the Spider-Man 3 film, the Sam Raimi trilogy, whatever. And, I mean, the likeness is there. I just don't understand why these are the proportions. It's such an odd thing to look at. Just, once again, concept, don't really understand it. It was a Burger King toy, and you know what? I have another one to show off, which is suffering from the same issues. Johnny Storm, everybody. First off, this one doesn't look anything like Chris Evans. So, they've already failed, because this is based on Silver Surfer. I do have other figures from Silver Surfer, they just don't look this bad. This is Johnny Storm, and I know in Silver Surfer, like, they get given each other's powers and everything, but who wants a Johnny Storm, you know, Human Torch figure that's half Reed Richards? Because that's what this is supposed to be showing. It's supposed to be showing when he gets Reed's powers and is able to make big fists. But what kid wants this as a figure? I will admit, though, especially compared to something like this or this, The posability is actually pretty good. Full waist articulation, both arms move. Like, as I say, it's just a weird concept, because who actually wants a half and half figure between these two characters? I know I certainly don't. I didn't even realise, because I got this figure far before I watched not Rise of the Silver Surfer. Or is it Rise of the Silver Surfer? Is that what it's called? I forget. The second Fantastic Four film. And I just assumed it was some sort of cheapy thing, like how this is. But no, this is supposed to be, a specific thing from the film where Johnny gets big fists. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me, and quite honestly, I don't think it ever will. Now, moving on from just weird, nonsensical, branded Happy Meal and Burger King kids box toys to Happy Meal toys that I literally don't have a clue what it's supposed to be. That's all I can say about it. I don't know what this is. It looks kind of like a dinosaur, like a triceratops or something, but it only has two horns. It has a little person riding on it, which, I mean, fair enough. And if you press them down, it opens its mouth. Yeah, an okay play feature. It's just a lump of plastic. However, I don't know whether the battery is still alive. It was alive when I tested it. It seems to have died. But there is an LED in his mouth. A red LED that I think was supposed to project an image. I don't know what this is from. I don't think it actually says anything. It says the story hat on the bottom. It was made for McDonald's. No idea what this is from, whether it was an original thing from McDonald's or whether it's some weird cartoon that I never saw. But in any case, what is it? Like, why is there just a dinosaur with a projector in its mouth being... It's not even being ridden, it's just got a person sat on its head. Very, very, very odd, and yeah. Now, we've got one more McDonald's, Happy Meal, Burger King sort of thing. I don't know what this is actually from. Well, I know what film it's from. I just don't know whether it's McDonald's or Burger King. Who here remembers the Narnia film? Because I certainly don't. Great. Stay in my hand, please. But yeah, this is the main male kid character from Narnia, who has, slamming pot action. Just what every kid wants. I don't understand this. It's such a weird thing to make into a toy. I'm not sure whether this is like... I say, I've never seen the film, so I don't actually know what this is supposed to be. Is he supposed to be like showing off food? Is he supposed to actually be hitting pans to make noise? I don't know. The likeness is, I guess, there. I don't really know. The paint isn't terrible by any means, especially for a McDonald's toy. And yeah, overall, I mean, I can recognise it without seeing the film, so that's something. But why would anybody want this? I clearly must have got this from an actual Happy Meal when I was, 6 or something. Did I like this at the time? Because I don't see why I would. The play feature is so specific and kind of boring that I don't know why I would care. But anyway, I lied when I said there was no more McDonald's toys, because this is clearly just another one. This is the robot from Monsters vs. Aliens, or I guess it's the alien from Monsters vs. Aliens. Nice little lithographic eye, which closes and opens. Very nice, very nice. So obviously, this is when it first lands, and it does have a nice play feature. You can pull out the arms, like so, then you can extend the legs, and you've got a nice little, alien robot mech figure. But my question is, why? I understand that this is, the main big bad from the film, But does anyone actually remember Monsters vs. Aliens for these giant, Cyclops robot things? Because, quite honestly, when I saw this, when I was digging through some boxes, I didn't even realise what it was from. It took me a while to realise that it was actually from Monsters vs. Aliens, because it just doesn't look like anything. And not to mention that, obviously, this being a McDonald's toy, all the aliens were about this size. So, other than the butterfly character, it's been a long time since I've seen the film, but other than the butterfly character, all of the monsters are way too big for this robot. So yeah, I wish I understood what went through the designers' heads when they were like, yes, let's have a transforming, sleeping robot. I mean, the play feature, quite honestly, is actually really good. It just clips together, and then the lithograph, the holographic eye, it works. It doesn't work too well on camera. It's also a bit old, so it's not really got the best layering. But overall, it works. I just don't get why anyone would care. Just like with a bunch of these, especially this one, I don't get why anyone would actually want figures of these things. Just generally, even if you're a huge Monsters vs. Aliens or Narnia fan, I just don't get what is cool about these figures. Well, moving on from Happy Meal toys or whatever they want to call them, here's Green Lantern from hit movie Green Lantern. So, yeah, first off, this is not the outfit that he has in the film. Secondly, this is just a lump of plastic. Now, this did come with basically like a mech tank sort of vehicle, and to actually fit in, you'd have to be in this position anyway. Any figure that's not in this very specific position just can't fit into the cockpit. Fair enough. But why not give him some articulation, even if it's literally just giving him one arm? Because as it currently is, he can't use any of the Green Lantern abilities. And that was a huge part of this line. For those who don't know, you actually would get little attachments for the hands, for the fists specifically, to be able to give them, constructs, Green Lantern constructs. And you just can't with this guy, because he can't move his ring hand. Why they decided to just do this? And I believe they did this for a few other figures. I think there was a Giga or whatever it's called, the big heavy Green Lantern, that also came with a vehicle and was just stuck in a pose. Though that one was actually kind of worse. That one was in a sitting pose constantly, whereas at least with this, technically, he can stand. In practice, he apparently can't, but, he is a figure that you can display. If you can get him to stand up, which I might be able to do. There we go. See, he can stand. He can stand triumphant over all these miscreants that he's clearly defeated. Or not. You know what? I think for the quality of that film, this is probably the best figure to show off that quality, because it's just a pointless, okay-looking thing. There's a joke somewhere about this video, but, moving on from one kind of failed franchise to another. Does anyone remember Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue? Because I do, and I wish I didn't. So I have no clue what this character actually is. Probably one of Zurg's minions, quite honestly. And I remember having this figure as a small child, and I loved it. Why, I do not know. Because, he has a little, shooter in his arm. I don't get why that's so far up his arm, why it's not on his wrist. But, whatever. You can wear your arm-mounted shoulder cannons wherever you want to wear them. And, he's clearly supposed to have wings of some description. He has a little opening jaw. All his joints are really squeaky because he's probably been used in the bath at some point. But I think a lot of people have already seen the biggest issue with this figure. There's no way to stand him. Or her, I don't know. But, yeah, he's supposed to be flying. Which, is fair enough. But this didn't come with a stand. This came with some wings, some small wings or something. how are you supposed to display this? Or are you just not? Are you not supposed to be able to stand it up at any point? Because if you do, it stands about as well as the Green Lantern figure. And yeah, I don't quite understand. Fair enough, it works with the design, but at least give it a stand, Like, just put a peg there so you can put a little stand on him and just, stand him. It's a pretty simple thing. Funko figured this out a long time ago. And I know this predates Funko by about, 20 years or something, but, this is such a weird thing to just exist. And it's the only Zerg-related item I actually owned for a very long time. We will actually get onto another one in a minute. But I just don't quite understand the concept of having a figure that can't stand without having something specially designed for it. Because that's the thing, if you want to stand this up, you could. But you'd need either a lot of blue tack or a specifically designed stand. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Keeping on with, Toy Story. Look, it's Potato Head. But, yeah, there's a major issue with this. So what is the one thing that Mr. Potato Head is known for? Well, it's being able to take off his parts. But as you can see, he is one solid chunk of plastic with posable arms. And those arms aren't even in great positions, to be fair. You can basically salute, or you can boy. But yeah, I don't quite get why you'd want a Mr. Potato Head that cannot be customised. Or at the very least, why you wouldn't give them the takeaway parts, because he does actually have the back part to store things. So wouldn't it be a great idea to actually have the parts removable so that you could make a small Mr. Potato Head? I don't know, it might just be me, but I think that would be way better than whatever the hell this is, because, as I say, this is essentially a statue. The posability doesn't really do much. I don't quite understand it, and I'm pretty sure that the reason why he has an opening, I think he might have come with the binoculars or something like that from Toy Story, which, that's fine, I can understand that. But it's just, why not just have a small Mr. Potato Head, like a full Mr. Potato Head? You don't have to give him extra parts, but just give him the ability to be customised, I don't understand the point of this. And one more item from Toy Story. We have the evil Emperor Zurg. Now, I always wanted the full-scale version of this. I had both Woody and Buzz. I'm going to drop it. But yeah, I never managed to get the full-scale version. But I saw this at a car boot sale or a thrift shop or something like that long ago. And thought, you know what, I'll pick it up. Has a nice little play feature that I think is broken because the... oh, there we go. It's like a little friction motor sort of deal for a spinning gun. It's pretty good, Overall, and they've got wheels, they're actually momentum, friction tyres, so pretty good. No posability on the head or anything. There is actually posability, though. That's right. This Emperor Zurg has hail action. I don't understand it either. All they would have to do to fix this is have it so that his hand is sideways. Literally just rotating that would fix it, because then he's doing karate chop action. But as is... well, you can see what he's doing. Like, I know he's the evil Emperor Zurg and everything, but that's just kind of ridiculous. So moving on from that mess, let's just go over two figures that just, they make sense in a weird way, but also I don't understand them. These are some Fisher-Price firefighting figures. Now, the reason why I'm calling this one firefighting is because they both came in the same set, a massive fire engine, and, honestly, the fire engine, pretty good. These figures, though, first off, what on earth are those feet? Second off, why does it look like their faces have been drawn on with marker pen? And for just so no one is confused, this is how they came originally. Fair enough, they've worn a little bit. But why does it literally look like I've taken a permanent marker to them? In fact, I think if I took a permanent marker to them, they'd actually look a bit better. But this is for kids, I understand that. And, it's not supposed to be the most highly detailed thing. It's supposed to have just little figures that you can't choke on that work with the playset. Then why is this not a Dalmatian? Clearly, they could have just put some black dots on it. It's a white dog. But this is not really fitting with the theme, I don't really have too much to say about these. I just thought they were very odd little figures, and I don't quite understand the purpose of them, because he clearly fits with the set. He's clearly a firefighter, but since when do they have sheepdogs in the fire department, Very, very odd. I will admit, though, the collar is pretty nice. Like, they both have it, but, like, they actually used it as a collar there. It's pretty smart. I do like these figures. They remind me of, like, being a little kid and everything, but, like, yeah, the quality, not exactly there. And speaking of the quality not quite being there, here's a fist. Are you excited yet? So, I don't know whether this is official. There's no copyright information on it. But this is from essentially what equates to Constructicons meets Transformers. Hello, Pink Ranger here. Looking straight out of the Samurai X, or whatever it's called. Whatever that series of Power Rangers was. And, yeah, at one point I did actually own a full set of these. And that's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo, isn't it? These are clearly not Mighty Morphin. That's kind of weird. But yeah, these figures are essentially just, well, they're very basic figures that can transform very difficultly into parts of a big robot. So obviously this one's an arm. I don't have any of the other ones that I could find. I was looking when I saw this one. But honestly, I think this kind of gives you the full idea. So rather than it being the vehicles that turn into the Megazord, the Power Rangers themselves turn into the Megazord. But the Power Rangers themselves don't even look that good when in Power Ranger form. Also, these arms are so difficult to move about. I do think that this is probably a fake, but I'm pretty sure this would be a knockoff of something that's real, which is the more worrying thing. The head's alright. No posability, unfortunately. But, like, I can understand where they're coming from with this, but it just doesn't quite make sense, because it doesn't really fit with the show, to my knowledge. Like, there might be one where it's a bunch of smaller Power Ranger mechs that become the Megazord. I haven't seen every series. I only really watched Mighty Morphin and RPD, but yeah. I don't have much else to say. The connector is pretty interesting. It does full rotation, which is very nice. It does give you full possibility when you're actually in mech form, in the full Megazord form. But yeah. Very odd. As I say, I don't know whether it's official. I don't know if it's based off anything. That arm doesn't even have the marking on it. Only one arm has it. Very, very odd. And speaking of very odd, London 2012. So yeah, the last Olympics in the UK, we got this weird creature. I don't think I really have to say much about it. It's Windle or Wumble or Wamble or whatever they called them. There's supposed to be like drops of metal from the stadium being made. And yeah. This one is doing weight training, but the weights are clearly too heavy, so the entire bar is bending. Yeah. I don't really know what to say about this. I believe these were part of like a blind bag series also. That falls off way too easy. But I believe it was part of like a blind bag or a blind box or something like that. And yeah, I don't really understand it. I do kind of like how, I've only just realised this, the helmet kind of looks like, well, the head, should I say, kind of looks like a cycling helmet. You know, that kind of like the speed spikes or whatever. Like I don't know, I like that. Now I've noticed I like it. But yeah, it's just a very odd little collectible. And yeah, this will probably just go in a box again somewhere, and I'll never talk about it again. But on that note, I think it only makes sense to have the penultimate item, because there is one thing that I do actually kind of like, but is also just very weird. If you know what these are, you are an MVP. Basically, across the UK, there's a bunch of holiday caravan parks and camping sites and stuff like that under the Haven branding. And at Haven, they often have very large entertainment areas with a lot of kid activities, including a bunch of mascot characters that come on stage that look like this. I'm not even joking. So these guys would be about 7 foot in real life, and yeah, I have a bunch of figures of them. Now, these are not their normal clothes, any of them. This is a specific, like, summer get-up that the tiger has. I don't remember any of the names, I'll be quite honest. And yeah, it's cool, I guess. This bear normally doesn't wear a suit, I don't think, anyway, and this Punch and Judy knockoff doesn't normally wear a tracksuit. But there we have it. There's 3 figures of mascots for a holiday camp. I don't think I have to really add much. These are just kind of weird. And yeah, generally, I don't know what else to say about them. I do have more than just these 3 of this same line. I just haven't been bothered to grab them, because I know where they are. I have so many of these figures. I have ones that are actually in the normal outfits. But yeah, these were just sold in the entertainment complex. I think you could win some by doing like games and getting tickets. And yeah, they're just statuette figures of mascots for a holiday camp. I don't get why they exist. I don't think they're exactly bad made, but like, yeah, I can understand like having a plushie of the bear or something, but small figurines of the characters is just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird to me. I don't quite get it. But as I say, I saved what I think is the best for last. Yeah, Dr. Evil's a mole. So this is a Kinder Surprise toy, and it's a mole that resembles Dr. Evil. I don't know what else to say. He's kind of like got that, is it Bloomfeld or whatever from James Bond sort of vibes. You know, the evil chair with the red button. He's got a little worm instead of a cat. This thing's actually made pretty well, so you can actually remove him completely, or you maybe not. Oh, yeah, you can. I've blue tacked him on. But you can remove him from the chair, and then the chair actually comes apart in 2 parts. So overall, like, it's a decent thing. I don't know why I had to blue tack that on, because it's not like he's going to come loose. I don't think, anyway. But I do kind of like this, but I just find it really weird to have a mole version of, like, Dr. Evil. He's got very yellow teeth. I don't know whether that's by design or whether that's just aging. That is really weird, actually. Really yellow teeth. That is odd. But yeah, I don't know. This is just a really, really weird figure to me, and I do kind of like it. It is my kind of thing. I do like Dr. Evil, so it does work, but like, it's such a weird concept. I don't quite understand it. But in any case, on that note, that's going to be everything. So I hope you enjoyed this look at some really weird and unusual and just unexplainable figures. Yeah, there's no excusing this, really. Like, that, it literally, surely someone must have looked at that and been like, oh, maybe we should change the arm. You know? Or just make it so you can't move it. Why is the posability on that arm at all? There doesn't need to be. Like, literally make it karate chop action. Just rotate the arm. It's so easy. I don't get this figure. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll see you next time. Bye.